Hello and welcome to the second channel for Tales from the Trip. I'm your host, Trip Keeper, and on today's video, we're going to be reading some Reddit threads about women or men who have been drugged. I don't know where, like some of them are nightclubs and other places, just anywhere in general, basically. But most of the time, bars and nightclubs are where it happens at, which is unfortunate, just happening in general. So with this discussion, I know I like to be funny on here. I know I like to have like a fun commentary, but this is actually a very serious video, and I like to be very open with things. I like to just speak my mind on stuff and don't care. But this time, this is more of like a very careful video. Probably my most video on my second channel that is closely related to the main. I just don't want to put it on the main because I don't know. I don't want to risk it. So on the second channel, I thought it would be perfect for it. I could talk about it. So yes, there is probably going to be some sort of trigger warning on here. So if you have any experience with this or anything related to getting drugged or like something that happens after, you guys know what I'm talking about, then I would not watch this. There are probably some answers, some comments in this video that will be, kind of very, very, very sensitive. So I'm just letting you guys know that in case you would be like, you would feel some type of way after hearing it. But I'm just letting you guys know that there could be something there. I don't want to like scare you guys. I just want you guys to know what we're getting into, because this is a very serious topic and it happens many times, and it still happens to this day, men and women and whoever. And it's just a very, very unfortunate thing that keeps happening. Like it's mostly women, of course, but it does happen to men from time to time. But you mostly hear about women who've been drugged at clubs. Like they'll get a drink and then a person will pop a pill in there, and then they'll drink it, and the next thing they'll wake up the next day and like, what the fuck just happened? So it's a very scary thing. Back a couple years ago, I did a donation thing, a charity basically for the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center, and I thought that was a really good thing to do. It actually made me feel just really good inside being able to do that. I think we raised over $500 at that time. I do want to do it again. Shout out Cleveland Rape Crisis Center. They do a very, very good job with the victims of rape and stuff like that, and when I got a tour of the place, they just showed me how, like, what happens there. Like, women or men, they get to stay there and just be safe from people that they think are dangerous, and that they are dangerous, not just think, just they know they are dangerous. So yeah, I just wanted to do this video to raise more awareness for it. This is strictly a harm reduction, not a harm reduction, because you can't really help it if you can take steps into not letting this happen, but there's times where you just cannot control it. But if you can at least know, then maybe there could be some little control there. But sometimes you don't have any control, and that's where it's a problem. But yeah, I do want to do another donation to the crisis center in Cleveland, because I feel like we can get more now, since my channel is way bigger than it was a couple years ago when I did do it. And it was just the woman that showed me around there was just such a nice lady, and I just want to help them out. It just feels good to help people. It's not, if you haven't helped people before, start helping people, because it does feel good, dude. It's just, it really does feel great to be able to help out for a good cause, and that is such a good cause in this world. Like I have so much sympathy for these victims of I've already said the word, but I'm not going to say it again. I don't want to involve that word anymore. But yeah, it's very good what these very, very amazing what these organizations are doing, especially the nonprofit ones. But any organization would be good. But I would like to do one that's just like nationwide or worldwide. But since I live in Ohio and Cleveland's the closest city I live to, I think it would be good for that. And it feels good to be a local community helper. But yeah, so I don't want to go on too long like I did the last video. That was a little bit too long. Even I could admit that was a long yapping session. But so yeah, we have a couple Reddit threads here that involves people getting drugged, and yeah, we're gonna probably sift through all of them, just like find, just see which ones we can read that are very like, in your face and like, oh shit, stuff like that. So yeah, this is, like I said, it's going to be a very sensitive topic. So if you don't think you're going to be able to handle it, please turn off. I do not blame you. There's no shame in turning this off right now, and I will not be mad at you for turning it off. I completely understand, because this is a very, very, very touching subject. So now that we have that out of the way at the beginning, let's just get started here. This first one on this page is have you been drugged at a bar or club? On Ask TO. I don't know what. Oh, Torontonians. Okay, so this is from Toronto. So this person said, I got drugged at a bar in 2018. I don't want to share the name because I like the place. I like the staff, and I truly think it was a fluke and not the staff or the establishment's fault. So I don't want them to suffer for it, but it sucked. 3 colleagues and I went out after work, all women. 2 of them ordered cocktails, and the other girl and I ordered pints of beer. The girls who ordered cocktails were fine, but the girl and I who ordered beers were not fine. We were seated at a table, and I think what must have happened was that the waitress poured our beers, stepped away to punch them in or take care of something else, and the guys who were seated at the bar must have tampered with them while no one was looking. Other girl had 2 pints and was suddenly super out of it. I figured she hadn't eaten, I was feeling it. She jumped in a cab to go home. I had 3 pints, and it hit me hard. I am not proud of this, but I can hold my liquor, and it would usually take me at the very least 6 or 7 pints, plus shots, plus an empty stomach to get me to the point where I was at. A colleague took me back to her place because she was worried and said I was making no sense, just gibberish. She tried to put me in a cab, but I insisted on taking the Queen streetcar, and I ended up nodding off and waking up at the Long Branch Loop, ended the line near Mississauga. That's how you pronounce it, I'm sorry. Absolutely terrified and no idea where I was. I made it home safe, and I'm very lucky that I did. I've had a long career of hardcore partying and blackout drinking, but I've never fallen asleep on the TTC before. Next morning, I was pretty embarrassed, but another friend confirmed she had been drugged, and that I must have been too. I told the bar. They were horrified, but unfortunately their security cameras didn't catch anything. They weren't pointing at the area where the tampering would have happened. They have since changed that. Fuck people who drug people. Yeah, this person is one of the lucky ones, because even though they were drugged, that nothing happened to them. Like, they not only could, for being drugged, like, for the intentions of someone who drugs someone, I'm not going to go into detail of what they want to do, but just physically being drugged, you can just feel like horrible the next day too. And just if you have something like that happen to you on top of already what the intentions were of that person, then that just makes everything completely worse. But this woman is very lucky that nothing happened to her. I don't know what, the first lady too, who went home in a cab, like, she knew right away that something was wrong. So yeah, it's good that nothing happened, but still very scary that this can just happen and you don't even know, Let's see here. Let's go into the next page. This one is, have you ever been drugged or had something put in your drink? How did you deal with it? This is on r/askwomen. Yeah, I'm gonna join it just to see. There's a lot of subreddits I join just to be that I'm interested in. Not that it would, be of matter to me, because I'm not a woman. So, yeah, this is all pink here. Let's see here. All right, this one is the top one, and they said, unfortunately, yes. I went to hang out with my best friend, and she invited me over to a buddy's house. I had had about 2 drinks at this point and was a career drinker. Bartender, what can I say? Anyway, the guy makes me a drink, and all of a sudden I'm fading. Can't hardly stand. He offers to take me up and put me in the spare bedroom. From this point on, everything went black. I came to, with him on top of me and his tongue down my throat. He pulled away to whisper, "Shh, this is our little secret." In my fight for consciousness, all I can make out are his lips. I fight to speak and fail. I can't move. I black out again. I wake up the next morning feeling sicker than I had ever been. My clothing is askew, and my other friend Ashley is sleeping next to me. My body is sluggish and sore. I see bruises on my breast, finger bruises, thighs too, but didn't feel the telltale sensation like a penis had been inside me. I grisly remember that one moment I was conscious and asked Ashley about what happened. Apparently he had disappeared up the stairs with me, and she came up to check on me, only to find the door locked. She thought it was weird but didn't speak up because she didn't jump to that conclusion. 15 minutes later, she came up to check on me once again to see him coming out of the room he'd put me in. and he grinned and said she was too late. I told my best friend about it and she refused to believe me, shamed me. I struggled to deal with it alone. About a month later, I am out with friends, and this guy comes up to me and puts his arms around me. Hey baby, me. Who are you? He leaned in close and whispered, don't you remember me, baby? We had so much fun together. Everything clicks, and I froze, just terrified, shaking, and I said, no, because I was unconscious. He laughed at me and walked away. Oh, fucking asshole. He laughed at me and walked away. I didn't deal with it well. I'd been abused as a child and it brought back many unhappy feelings. I got stuck in a negative thought loop and agonized over it. I felt like I couldn't get past it because I didn't know what all he did to me, but he was in the room with me for 25 minutes or something. It still hurts me to this day that I didn't knock his teeth out. I just stood there and shook like a mouse. Wow, yeah, this is like just a very harrowing story here for the first top one. Yeah, that's like the worst of it happening. Like that's the stuff you dread hearing about people. And the fact that her what does she say, her best friend refused to believe her. Like, how could you be someone's best friend when they tell you something like that happening and not believe them? That is not a friend. If you tell them something like that and they don't believe it, like what kind of fucking person are they? Now, there might be outlandish stories that don't sound real, but this is just completely plausible. So, like, I don't know. If your best friend is telling you something happened like that, why wouldn't you believe them? And that guy coming, oh my God, that guy coming around her and put his arms around her and said, hey, baby. Oh my God, like, what a fucking asshole. Dude, I fucking can't stand people like that. I mean, I don't know how anyone can stand people like that. It's just, this is just making me upset a little bit. I don't even know if I'm gonna continue doing this, but yeah. Someone said, I feel like vomiting. If we ever have to immortalize the meaning of scum, we should do it with this picture. Holy fuck, did you report him to the police? I'm so sorry this happened to you. And then they said, I didn't. I'm full of regret about it. At the time, the best friend had asked him about what happened, and he made up this ridiculous story about how I was shit-faced and came into his room naked and peed in his closet. What the fucking fuck? And she believed him. Okay, so he manipulated her as well. My rationale was, if even my best friend doesn't believe me, who will? And the thought of a rape kit shut me down fast. This was years ago, and I try not to think about it now, but I know now I was a coward. You were not a coward. You were just, you literally could not do anything. And if you could, it was not enough to stop what was happening. That's the unfortunate part about it. Like, it just disgusts me that there's people in this world out there that will actively go to bars and stuff and fucking do that to women or other men. It's just so sickening. It is really sickening. That's definitely a really, really sad story. Okay, so this is a question I wanted to ask. Please tell me she was or is your ex-best friend. I'm sorry for what you went through. As a male, it makes me terrified to imagine a similar situation happening to me. I hope you know it's not your fault, it's his, and hopefully of the world is just he'll get what he deserves. You weren't a coward, you were human. Exactly. You are not a coward. She said, we don't talk anymore, and thank you. I tend to feel responsible for some things I can't control. I don't know why. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, when you have an experience like that, you like, it's hard not to blame yourself for it, because you look back in hindsight and be like, damn, I could have acted differently. I could have said no, but like, you literally, if you were drugged, you cannot control what you are doing. And if they make it if they put a lot in your drink, then yeah, it's just like nearly impossible. So if you're watching this right now for some reason, this is from over 11 years ago, so if you're ever watching this right now, hey, everyone is with you here, dude. This is just, we feel for you. You are not the coward. It's just, you cannot control it. You cannot control it. And it's good that you stopped being friends with her. That's just fucked up that she would believe someone she doesn't even know over her best friend. Like, that is just so fucked up to me. If someone did that, if this experience happened to me and I told my best friend about this and then he was like, oh, that's not true, I would just drop him like that. I'm glad she did. So yeah, we're here with you, and if you're watching somehow, hey, we are fucking here. All right, so this thread, I want to just alternate between threads. This one is a male one. Have any men been drugged during a night out? What were your experiences? So the person that uploaded this Reddit thread or started it, they put their own story. So let's read it. Tonight, I was out with some friends that I haven't seen in several years. Some friends that I thought I could trust and friends that I initially felt safe around. Let me drink. I'm also drinking a Miller High Life. It's actually early for a recording. Usually I like to record at like 7, 8, 9 o'clock, but yeah, now we're just getting this. We're getting this done here. This is a prime time. As a male, I never thought that I would have come across a situation. I understand that it is a common occurrence, but I did not think that it would happen to me, especially among people I feel like I trusted. We started out in a small town restaurant with some drinks, something that is not unusual for me, but definitely not common either. I don't drink often, but I'm also not a lightweight. I had at the maximum 4 beers and 3 shots during the whole night. 4 beers at the initial bar/restaurant and 1 shot. When we got to an actual bar about 45 minutes away, I had 2 more shots. This is where things got scary for me. My friends and I were talking to some people. I had the 2 shots aforementioned and everything seemed fine. Aforementioned, I've been pronounced, like my whole life I've heard aforementioned, but it's aforementioned, I think. I had the 2 shots aforementioned and everything seemed fine. A little bit later I started feeling weird, a feeling that was unusual for me, especially while drinking. It is hard for me to articulate the feeling, this feeling, but I was scared and didn't trust the people that I was with. I didn't trust anyone around me and didn't trust the situation I was in. Several times I felt myself slump over into the booth I was sitting in, and honestly felt like I was going to die. I remember asking my friends for help, but nobody was helping the way that I felt I needed. A large portion of my night was spent sitting in that booth being scared. I remember puking quite a bit and thinking that I needed to go to the hospital. Again, this behavior has never happened before, and I'm not on any medication that would react to alcohol. In fact, at this current time, I am not on any medication at all. A little while after puking, maybe 1 hour or so, my friends decided it would be best to leave. We got into the designated driver's car and headed back to my vehicle so I could head home. Instead of driving home, which was about 20 minutes from this place, I got into the passenger seat and went to sleep. I was found by a police officer that informed me that I was texting other friends asking for help and that I didn't feel safe. That friend contacted my immediate family and they were trying to find me. My phone had died, so I was unable to contact anyone after leaving the bar to let them know I was okay. So they had been calling the police trying to find me. After speaking with the officer and assessing my situation, they stated that it sounded like I had been drugged. To me, based on my initial searches and findings, this seems like the most obvious answer. I'm curious to know if anyone I am curious to know if anyone has a similar situation to help shed some light on my situation to help me process what has happened. As someone in the USA, I know things like this happen all the time, but I never imagined it may have happened to me. I am happy that my gut instinct helped me navigate the situation to the best of my ability, but it is definitely an eye-opener. Thanks in advance for any responses to this. Any input is greatly appreciated so that I am able to process this and move on. Well, another thing, like the first story, glad that nothing happened to you. But yeah, no, it does sound like you were drugged. And if not, still, like, just drinking that much is very dangerous to be around with people you don't trust. Like, it's just anytime, drinking can really affect you, but drinking with drugs to mix that with, like, yeah, that's just a horrible thing. But yeah, you got to wonder who did it and like why. But you just got, hopefully not. I mean, maybe something did happen during it, like I think you blacked out or something. So, yeah, no, that's scary. Let's see. I want to read another man one while I'm here. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if there's like a scary, really scary one. I mean, they're all scary, but all right, I guess we can read this one. I had this happen several years ago. While it's hard to be 100% sure someone slipped something in your drink, like you, had been pacing myself and had well below the number of drinks that would get me anywhere near severely impaired, probably 4 to 5 over the course of 6 hours. I know myself and my limits and don't cross them. Slightly different experience in that I didn't have the fearful or impending death feeling. I was chatting up with friends and playing darts, shuffleboard, etc. at a college bar one minute, then don't remember a thing until I woke up about 5 hours later on a couch in the lobby of a random hotel about 10 miles away, covered in vomit. My phone had the 3% battery. I needed to call my family and have them pick me up, but my ID and credit/debit cards were gone. Come to find out, at some point between the bar and hotel, I had withdrew $200, maximum my bank allows, from an ATM. I had no cash on me when I woke up. I can only describe the next 2 days as feeling like I was perpetually intoxicated with continual nausea and dizziness, but no hangover. It was awful and honestly scary. With a normal hangover, you hydrate and give it time and it eventually starts to improve. This was different. I'm actually a pharmacist, and everything I described is consistent with what a benzo, think Xanax, roofie's a street name for a different drug in the benzo drug class, would do to someone when mixed with alcohol. So given all the information I had, I was pretty confident in my evaluation of what happened. I will fully echo with is that their OP? Oh, okay, it's just some random person. Echo with you/Joe said, I felt like my dignity vanished and immediately blamed myself for what I thought was immaturity at going over my limit. I also had to learn that it wasn't my fault, and the more I talked with my family and friends, the more they reassured me that the events of the night are not consistent with anything I brought on myself. As a guy, it's a hard pill to swallow to be taken advantage of. I'm sure like other guys here in that I thought women are the ones who get drugged and that my manly body couldn't succumb to something like that. As a guy, I'm supposed to control the situation, and it's painful when you realize someone took that ability away, even temporarily. Anyways, I am always here to talk or offer support. I can kind of laugh at it now since physically I'm okay, but the physiological effects are real. It just makes me more sympathetic to other people in this situation, especially women who experience this more than men. Yeah, no, women definitely do experience this more, like you cannot deny. And that's what pisses me off when there's people who tell their stories and they just like back in the second story where they won't believe you. Like, dude, okay, maybe there's that small percentage of people who lie, but most of the time if they're telling you that it happened, it most likely happened. And then they use the excuse, well, why'd you come back? Why'd you tell it years later? Why don't you tell it when it happened? Because it's very it's very humiliating for you to announce that to people, for people to know that. Like, you do not, like, I'm not gonna allege anything, but with Leonardo DiCaprio, he probably got, assaulted by Brian Peck, the one in the Quiet on Set documentary, because he was very involved with him. And Drake Bell, we heard that with his monologue, that whole thing, and he went really into detail with it. And that takes a lot of fucking courage to come out and do, because he's right. As a man, you do not want to say this because you're supposed to be a man. You're supposed to be masculine. You're supposed to be a tough guy. But, you don't expect other people to take advantage of you, man or a woman. And, it's just very, very hard to be a man in that respect. And, but yeah, it would be very embarrassing to have that happen and have to like try to explain to other men, and women will probably look at you differently too, but women will be more definitely understanding since it happens to them more. But telling a man that, like another man, like, it's just, they will definitely look at you differently and not treat you the same. That's just what it's like. Now for me, I would understand. I'm very empathetic towards these people who've been abused like this, and there's some people who are just so evil online who just don't give a fuck, who blame the women for it happening. It's like, dude, you are literally the scum of the earth, and it's just so sickening to see that. And but yeah, it's a tough world out there, and it's very hard to admit what happened. You just don't want people looking at you differently for that, and you'd rather just keep it to yourself inside of you and not tell people, because it's just that humiliating. Not saying it is, like, I'm not saying it is humiliating or embarrassing, just having you say it and just the people's perspectives about you after would be. It is not humiliating or embarrassing in any way. I think we should all speak up on things that have happened to us in the past like this, but only with what you're comfortable with and people with you trust. You do not want to tell some random person, like if you got drunk one day and you're talking about your life story. Like, don't tell those people. But like, if you feel comfortable one day with your best friend, your girlfriend or boyfriend, to tell them an experience that happened in the past, I think that is a perfect time, because if they stayed with you after, then they are really a good person. But if they started ghosting you or stopped talking to you, then that's how you can weasel out, your quote unquote friend, in that, like how the second story was, or first story, where they didn't believe her. But yeah, what I'm trying to get at is just, don't be afraid to talk about it, but also, if you don't want to, don't. Like, you don't have to. No one's begging you to do it. And like I said, with people who come out later about it, like, you have to have time to process it, and you have to like realize, like, if I do say what I'm going to say, that is going to be, people are going to look at me very differently. And I don't look at Drake Bell any differently. I have way much more sympathy for him now. Because he did have that one problem a couple years ago where he went to court for talking to a minor or whatever, but it ended up being like something different. I'm not going to be for sure on that, but it ended up being not like what they persecuted him for, so it wasn't like as bad as they said. I don't quote me on that. That's what I saw. I'm not going to say that it did or didn't happen in respect to the woman that was texting him, but just his story with Brian Peck really shook me to my core, because that was just because when he said that imagine the worst thing possible that someone could do to you, and that's what happened. Like, I'm just thinking about what he did and how bad it was, and it's just like, to say that in front of a national audience, when these people who are probably watching it are fans from Drake and Josh and all these Nickelodeon shows, and the things you grew up with, are watching this, and you did not know that happened, and you just now look back like, damn, he was acting on that show and other shows after something like that happened when he was 15 years old. Like, you just start thinking about that, and you're just like, oh my God. And Dan Schneider, like, you can't blame him for Drake Bell, like, not talking about it, because Drake did not want to talk about it. But Dan Schneider has very bad things alleged towards him, but that's the one thing that he kind of was, I don't know, I'm not gonna, and it's tough to say, because all the alleged things that he has around him, he's not a good person, especially if they are true, which everything points towards they are. But it seemed like that was the only time in the documentary that he actually sympathized with someone, because I think Drake really meant a lot to him. And but it's just the fact that Dan Schneider probably knew that Brian Peck was like that before, and that's where we have the problem with it. Like, there are many problems, and there's a bunch of other actresses and actors that came out against, actors against Brian Peck, of course, because he was gay, so he liked men, and it's just sad to see it. And that's the thing, like, these people are all coming out later. Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah, because now people feel comfortable saying it. So just, like I said, there's that little small percentage of people who come out and lie just for whatever, but 99% of the other women and men are telling the truth. And it's it's a hard thing to tell people. That's all I want to say about that. But yeah, that went on for a while, but it was all information I thought I should share, because that's how I feel about it, And I want to share on here because this is a very personal video. It's not going to be funny at all. Like, there's nothing funny about this. And if you're making a joke in the comment section, like, I really hope you unsubscribe and do, just never watch me again, because I don't see you as a human. I see you as scum. As if you were to, make fun of these people. Like, I literally do not want you watching my videos. And, it's a shame that people will probably make jokes in the comments. So, I hope not. I hope I could trust you guys to do that, and girls, because it would really hurt if you guys were to, like, make excuses for the criminal in the act, not the victim. Well, just making excuses for the criminal, and you're like, oh, it was their fault, for the victim, because that's just messed up to think that. And it's just, I see it all over Twitter. That's why I don't like to use Twitter, because there's so many bad opinions on there, and that's just one of them. But I'm not saying they're all bad. There's definitely some good ones that people have, but they say whatever they want in there, and it's really sad. It's really sad. But yeah, no, there's no room for that kind of talk in here, especially also if you're a racist too. I don't want that. Nothing. Just any person that would get you eternity in hell for, I don't want you on my channel. That's just why we respect people here. This is a good place for you to, talk about things and feel safe about, because I just want my content to make people feel safer, and, to make harm reduction, and this goes along with it. Even on the second channel, like, we're so used to me, talking about funny stories on here, and even if they are the frightening stories, I still make jokes about it. But on here, on this specific video, it is nothing but true horror. That's what we're doing here, and it's only to showcase what happens in this world, how disgusting this world can be at times. And I just want to get that point across, because I do not have I don't see these people as human who do these acts or make jokes about it. It's not fucking funny at all. These people who make jokes about this, or like even, racist too, like they'll say the N-word with the hard R too, and like they'll think it's funny, like, oh, it's so funny. Like, dude, you are not being funny. You're being edgy, and you don't. There's nothing funny about. I hate memes that involve that. It's like literally the most dumbest shit ever. Only 14-year-olds would laugh at. It's just fucking grow up already, fucking assholes. Just, and I'm so sick of people like that. Anyone, oh my god, it's just. It pisses me off. It really does. Like, you're not being funny at all. You're just being an edgelord who's fucking, I don't know. You're just being an edgelord who's not funny, and you think it's funny, but it's not. Like, no one, like, that's what I never got about these new, because I see them all over the place now, on Instagram comment sections and Twitter, like people just openly being racist, and it's shocking that people just allow it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can't stop it. It's a free country for people to say whatever they want. But like, I'm just surprised that there's so many comments about it. Like, dude, just stop. It's literally not fucking funny at all. And I hope you fuck off. All right, we got one more thread here. We're gonna go back to the other threads we had in here, but I just want to mix it up here in the beginning. Sorry, that went on a little bit too long, but I thought that was very valuable information that you guys should know about me, because that's how I feel about life and social stuff. This one is on 2 X chromosomes. Has anyone been drugged and remembered it? So yeah, this one is remembering. Let's see here. Okay, so we're just going to read the one that the guy posted with the question. I've been digging up my trauma from over a year ago, or girl. Did I say guy? I don't know what I said. Guy or girl. And I've begun, okay, let me restart this. I've been digging up my trauma from over a year ago, and I've begun to suspect that I had been drugged, but I happen to remember it, rather than just drinking too much. I'm not sure why the detail matters so much to me, but I'm hoping for support. I want to understand what happened to me. There were a lot of signs he drugged my drink. He bought a bigger drink than I was used to, 24 ounces, 8% can. He opened it for me after we ate a bunch of chicken nuggets and onion rings. I'm overweight and white, and it took me over 40 minutes to finish the drink. It's unlikely I was just shit-faced after one drink. A back calculator says I'd be at 0.08 at most, but my symptoms afterward were akin to 0.20, 0.2. He kept checking how much I drank, and it caused me to ask for a glass so he could see how much I had, and he refused. Halfway through my drink, I told him I was feeling dizzy and I didn't want to continue, but he began guilt-tripping me over it, saying I was wasting his money if I didn't finish it at all. It was $4, so I did. For fuck's sakes. It was $4 for fuck's sakes, so I did. Yeah, that's fucking guy. The thing that bothers me the most is that he wouldn't know I would get as messed up as I did if he didn't drug it. If he didn't know I would become so messed up he could rape me. Why would he pressure me so much to finish it? The only reason I can't accept that he did drug me was that he hated everything about drugs since his mom was an addict. If he had so much trauma and hate for drugs, why the hell would he drug me? I started off my spot and face planted into the sheets of the bed. Suddenly, my head was my center of gravity and the heaviest thing in the world. I had no control of my body. I've had this same drink many times since, and I had harder alcohol only a few weeks after. And although I got really drunk, it didn't get me that fucked up. I might be wobbly and dizzy, maybe even puke, but to have almost zero control of my body after one big can, not to mention I couldn't feel pain Not to mention I couldn't feel pain. And as he sexually assaulted me, I wondered calmly to myself if I was being raped. I have read that date rape drugs cause you to black out, so it leaves me wondering, was I drugged? If I remember all of it, he clearly thought I wouldn't remember any of it. Okay, so remembering that, there's total justification. Don't want to explain what happened during that, but yeah, I was like, is this story gonna go? Like, is this gonna get really, really bad? And it did. Once they said, the assault, it's that's just so messed up. Yeah, they may be against drugs because they're giving it to someone else. That's why. Someone said, oh, my beer. Okay. I'm so sorry you experienced this, considering people can remember being conscious while being under anesthesia, which is administered by professionals. I do think it's reasonable that you can have memories from being drugged. I don't know if hypnotherapy is the correct term for what I'm thinking of, but a professional who can provide therapy and hypnosis to remember things like this could potentially be helpful if that's what you want to do. Oh, God. I wish you the best in working through all of this. I hate when that happens. I talk for a long time, and I just can't. I have to take a deep breath there. But hypnotherapy, is that like? I think I have a feeling of what that could be. Oh, you guys see this stupid Google AI shit? I can't believe they said it's okay to eat a rock. Like, what the fuck? Hypnotherapy, also known as hypnosis, is a type of mind-body medicine that can help treat a range of medical conditions. It involves a trained therapist guiding a client into a trance-like state of deep relaxation and heightened awareness, similar to being absorbed in a movie or book. In this state, the client's body is more relaxed and their mind is more receptive to the therapist's suggestions. The therapist's suggestions depend on the condition or behavior being treated. Okay, yeah, that could work with it, I wouldn't hurt to try it. This is from just over a year ago, a little bit, so not that long ago. So if you're watching this, hey, maybe give that a try. All right, let's see. I'm gonna actually stop the audio and then go when I find a story, so hold on. All right, quick jump. I found 3 more that we're gonna do. Maybe we could do more after that. The one I read about, has anyone been drugged or remembered it? There's only that story, and it really isn't that much on there. So we're gonna use the other 3 threads, and I have the stories here, and we're gonna see where we're at after. See if we can do more or if we should end it. But we're gonna read these and react to them. All right, this is one by West Established 101. I haven't, but I was friends with someone who has. He was going to a bar to meet up with a friend after work. At the bar, while waiting for his friend, a couple of strangers, men, started to chat with him while he sipped his beer on a bar stool at the bar. The next things he remembered were very hazy. He remembered 2 scenes of about 2 or 3 seconds each of him lying naked on a bed with a camera on a tripod aimed at him, and then a third memory of him waking up on a grass embankment next to a road and getting up and stumbling. The next thing he remembered was waking up at home. He went to the hospital. It was obvious he was raped. He soon after... Oh no. He soon after tested positive for HIV. Oh my God. Not only did that happen, like the sex, and it's not sex, it's, what it is. I already read it in the story, but I'm just going to say it if it's in the story. You know the word. But man, getting HIV too, oh my God. How, you literally did nothing to deserve that. That is just... You got to be really careful out there, guys. You really, really, really got to be careful. It is very dangerous out there. Police told him this was far from the first time they had encountered this. They went to lengths to investigate to try and catch and charge the bastards, but the police were unsuccessful in being able to identify and find the perpetrators. Someone said, holy fuck, that's absolutely horrible. Exactly how I feel about that. God. Yeah, and he had just moved to the city a couple weeks prior. I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine. After that, I never let a drink out of my hand, never set it down, always ask for a bottle instead of a glass if it's beer, and always hold it to my chest when I'm not drinking it. It's not worth my life to do otherwise. Oh my God, bruh. Getting HIV, like, that's like horrible. Really, like, oh my God. All right, let's go on to another story we got. Yes, friend from high school drugged me when I asked to hang out with him. He brought me orange juice and vodka as per my request. It all hit me at once. We were in his car and I started blacking out. He kept waking me up, and at one point I opened my eyes and we were both naked with him above me. I remember saying no and he argued with me, and all I wanted to do was sleep, so I let him do what he wanted. I've never felt more tired in my life. I felt nauseous, and I've never felt nauseous from alcohol before or after, nor gotten blackout drunk since then, and I've definitely drank more than I did then. Anyway, he raped me, and when he got bored because I couldn't hold a position, he took me home. I feel lucky he didn't kill me, but dealing with the rape has been complicated. I saw him once after that. I invited him over because I didn't want to face what happened and wanted to be friends still. It was a rough time in life, and I needed his friendship. It didn't work. He tried to force himself on me again, and could have, but I guess my sober and firm refusals were too hard to ignore. He tried at least 6 times. I wish I'd had a test done to confirm, but I know I was drugged. I'm glad not everyone who's been drugged ended up in this situation. I think we need to talk about how prevalent this is, because what the actual fuck, let's not do this to each other. That is just messed up. A friend from high school. Yeah, it's very hard to be friends. Like, if you're a man and a woman, it's very hard to be just friends. And that guy definitely was not seeing her as just a friend, and the only way he thought he can get to her was doing that. So fuck that guy. Oh my God. Yeah. That's a messed up story. It really is. It's. I mean, like I said, these are not for the faint of heart. If you're triggered for this, I would not continue. If you're already past this, like, yeah, you can handle it. But, if this somehow came on autoplay, turn it off. If you're triggered by this stuff, because I'm pretty triggered by it. Honestly, I don't even know. Like, it's very hard to get through this shit. But yeah, that's just so messed up. Someone said you should report him to the police. They may not be able to help, but if he ever does it again, they'll have your report on hand. It'll be harder for them to simply dismiss. Sorry you had to go through that. It sounds like a terrible situation to be in. Yeah. Your point is valid, but as a victim, not of rape, but ongoing sexual abuse, I have to say that being told we have to report is not helpful. Now, this isn't from the person who wrote the story, so this is another commenter. Experiences with police can be just as awful as the initial experience because we get asked seriously invasive questions and have to relive it again. Some people may find the interview a positive experience. It's all out there now and they don't have to hold on to it. But for others, remembering details can throw a spanner in the works of your life and send you into a bad mental place. It is not the responsibility of victims to make sure the perpetrator doesn't do it again. They may never do it again, but it's up to them to take responsibility for their own actions. Yeah, I agree and disagree with that. Like, I think that you should go to the police if it does happen. Like, it's probably the number one thing, especially like if it happens right after. Like, if you report it like years after, like I said that you should believe them. But for cops reasoning, I don't know if they would take it in or not. Like, it's hard to say. They should, but you know how cops can be in these times. And yeah, so probably doing it ASAP if you really were affected like that horribly and that person deserves to be, in jail or at least under house arrest or probation or whatever. Yeah, just something like that. I think it's the smartest idea to tell the police, because, I mean, police, they're very iffy. I mean, we all know that some of them can be really horrible people, but there's also some police in this world that are good people. They actually want to protect society, and that's why it's hard for me to say just defund the police, because I don't think that's a good idea. But there are a lot of police out there that do shit that are very fucked up like that, and they just, I don't know. It's very tough to say, but I think filing a police report, just tell them. You don't have to tell anyone else. That's the thing. They brought up, this is what I agree with, that just telling, telling like people, like remembering the details and having to remember them and shit like that. That's very difficult. But yeah, no, when they said it is not the responsibility of victims, make sure the perpetrator doesn't do it again. They may never do again, but it's up to them to take responsibility for their own actions. I highly disagree with that. I mean, I agree with that they need to take responsibility, but the fact that you wanna ask them to do that themselves, or you want them to do that on their own, if they already did it once, I mean, I don't know, man. It's gonna be pretty hard for them not to do it again. Because if you do it in the first place, like, what kind of fucking person are you? That's just fucked up to even think about doing that to someone. Like, what? Of course they're gonna do it again. Like, you just don't do that for like a shits and giggles one time. Like, oh, I'm gonna drug this drink and they're gonna drink it. Like, that's not the thing. Like, these people who do it are they do it a lot. Or maybe they did do it once and they haven't had the chance to do it again, but they definitely have it on their mind. I mean, I don't know why you would expect them to take responsibility when they did it in the first place. Like, that's the part I disagree with, but they brought up a good point. But other than that, though, yeah, I think you should tell the police, and you should really, get the suspect in trouble, get the perpetrator in trouble, because they did that shit to you. That is a fucking crime. It literally is, and it's a crime not only in the world, but like if you believe in God or not, you at least know it is not good for the afterlife. Yeah, no, it's a crime. It's a crime anywhere, and it's very, very messed up that people do that shit. So fucked up. And the person said, thanks, I did make a report, but I don't know what good it'll do. He was a guard at the time and then joined the army and fought in Afghanistan. In my town, he's achieved God status for that. Thankfully, I moved away and have a great support system, but I can't think about it too much, or it kills me knowing he's still out there. Yeah, no, it would kill me too. It's very easy to say that. However, when you are in the situation, it's hard to act you always thought you would or should. It would be great to have 100% reporting statistics on all crimes, but the fact is we don't, and there are reasons we don't. All right. Yeah. All right. We're going to read this next one. We're getting to 46 minutes in. Might read a couple more. Might get a couple, but this is a male one again. Because I want to get them all involved, because it's not just women. It's mostly women, of course. No one could deny it. It's mostly women, but I want to make it known that it can happen to men too. New Year's Eve a few years ago, I was out on my own as some friends were supposed to meet me later, but ended up not showing. So I went to a few bars and had some drinks by myself. I remember some older woman started talking to me and then buying me bottles of beer and basically shoving them in my hand and encouraging me to drink them. Then everything went blank. Woke up with all my credit and debit cards missing and 600 pounds taken out of my accounts. I'm usually a pretty good drinker and seem with it, even if I'm blackout drunk. My flatmate said I was acting really weird when I got home, stripping my clothes off in the hall, stumbling around all over the place, not able to talk properly. I think she drugged me, made me buy her drinks, then watched me put my PIN number in, took my cards, and withdrew as much money as she could. I reported it, and I did manage to get my money refunded by the fraud team, luckily. Oh, that's good, actually. They got your money back. So that's another thing. It's not just like the sexual acts that can happen. It's the money. That's why people, I think in South America they do it mostly or something, where they blow, angel dust in your face, or scopolamine. Not angel dust, but yeah, scopolamine. Oh, maybe they do angel dust too. But yeah, they blow it into your face, and that's how they basically can control you. And that's another thing you got to worry about. Not only, like I said, the sexual actions, but the monetary. Like you easily get something stolen from you, all your money, steal your car. Like you never know. That's why you got to be careful. This is not just for women. That's what I'm saying. Like as a man, that could happen to you. The having to withdraw money and lose everything in a night because this person is fucking forcing you to, because they bought you drinks or you bought them drink, or you bought yourself drinks, and they used your PIN to get you out your money, and you got to worry about that most of all. Well, not most of all, because I feel like the sexual acts are way worse than that, but money is definitely number two. I don't know what else would be a horrible thing that would happen if you were drugged. Leave it in the comments, because I like to hear. But those are definitely a top two. I wasn't even thinking about that at first, but now I am. Yeah, now it's very horrible that you can get everything stolen from you, and that's a very definite possibility. You don't even have to worry about. You don't have to think about getting drinks. Like, anything could happen, like just getting robbed in general. This is just purely a life lesson here. All right, I think since we're getting close to 50 minutes, we're just going to read two more stories. I found two more that could be very good to end on. Well, very good, very bad to end on, if you know what I mean. Like, a very harrowing story, but I'm glad we could talk about this stuff and hear people's experiences, because it's a touchy subject, and I think this might be a good video to showcase what could happen. So I'll read two more stories, we'll talk about them, and just what we've been doing, and I think we'll end the video after that. So this one is by Chemical Special 682. I have been drugged twice. 2018, once when I was at a club I was a regular at. Woke up at a friend's house across the city because he found me outside being held up by the bouncers, and I could barely stand up. My ankles were scraped up, and so were my knees and legs. I have no idea what happened that night, but he drove me home. But he told me he suspected I got drugged, and that's when I put the pieces together. I then found a Snapchat video of me that I saved of me with two random guys who were way older than me. They were holding on to me, and my pupils were huge, and I was completely out of it. It was really scary seeing myself that way. I tried reporting it, but nobody did anything. The hospital wouldn't even test me to find out what drug was in my system. Second time, well, that's fucked up. Not even the hospital. Like, you would think they would test you. The hospital, like, what the fuck? That's really messed up. Second time, 2019, my ex-best friend drugged me at her house before I left. I unknowingly drank big amounts of Molly that was in a vodka bottle. I was supposed to take the train home, but when I was about to leave, I started to OD. My partner at the time, we were still together, came to get me as I called her, panicking since I kept drifting in and out of consciousness, and I was terrified. This led to a scary 1 year of drug-induced psychosis. She denies it, but nobody else was there except for us, and she acted sketchy when my partner arrived. You really can't trust anyone. That changed my life and traumatized me. Good thing, I like how you said my ex-best friend. You do not want to be friends with this person anymore. That is just so messed up, to have your friend drug you, your best friend to drug you. Like, come on. It's bad enough that if a best friend doesn't believe what you're saying, but to actually do the action themselves, oh my God. Someone said, I'm so sorry you went through that. After I was drugged, I went through really traumatizing disassociation, depression, anxiety. Really bad psychosis where I felt completely different to my usual self for about a year or two. It affected my personal relationships, and I had to try to fix them once that lifted a bit. I find it extremely hard to trust anyone outside my family and partner. There are so many fucked up people who go under the radar. This type of shit changes your mindset for life. Yeah, no, I wouldn't, you really can't trust anyone in this life. You can't, if you want to spill something to someone, you got to make sure that they're very good at keeping secrets, or else you should not tell them. For me, I am great at keeping secrets. People have told me that they trust me a lot with their information, because I know a juicy thing that happened, and I did not tell anyone, except my one friend, because they'll never meet and they don't even know what's going on. So that's the only person I told. But I'm not going to tell anyone else, But so I only did that because they would never meet them. So it's just, but yeah, other than that though, you keep a secret with me at work or in life in general, I'll be sure to keep it a secret, because if you ask me to not tell anybody, I will definitely keep that honor for you. So yeah, it feels good to be able to keep a secret, of course you want to tell people. It's just like when it's Christmas time, you're like, I got you something, and then you can't tell them what you got them because it's not Christmas yet. All right, so this last story we're gonna read, it's a little, well, it's not a little, it's not long, but it's long for a thread read. So yeah, let's get into this, and then we'll end the video after that. Several years ago, I was at a bar with a couple of new female coworkers, strippers, all three of us. A couple of their guy friends showed up. We were all having fun, decided to go drink some more after the bar closed. Went to a hotel room, but I was so drunk that no alarm bells were going off. Anyway, I went into the bathroom, and when I came out, the girls were gone. The two guys said they ran to buy cigarettes, then offered me a drink. I took it, not thinking anything of it. I was drunk, but not at my limit. I get drunk quick, but can actually tolerate a lot before getting sick. So I thought it was odd when I had to throw up. I blacked out while puking. I came to a few times. While I will spare the details, I can say that I was violated in all three holes, and I do know that I said no several times. I remember hearing one say, "She's moving too much. Hold her still. I'm about to this in the ass." All right, you know. I came to around 9 a.m. with no clothes on, the door propped wide open, and my money, my cigarettes, and my phone were gone, as were the guys. The girls had never come back. I called down to the front desk and asked them to call the police. Filed my report, went and got a rape kit done. If I didn't watch so much SVU, I probably would have taken a long hot shower. They blood tested me, but it had been long enough that there wasn't enough in my system to prove anything, supposedly. I got a horrible detective who hates strippers. I positively ID'd them out of a photo lineup and the girls who set me up. There was plenty of DNA evidence. The detective in the end said she wasn't going to pursue the case because they told her that I was a hooker, and she accused me of being upset that I didn't get paid. Wow. I didn't leave my house for almost a year except to go to work. Those guys and the girls had been in the club we worked at, so the doormen had their images printed out. Once the detective decided to accuse me of being a whore, the manager of the club had all the doormen permission to beat them senseless should they ever show back up, which is the main reason I kept working. I felt safe there. Sadly, they never did, LOL. I spent a year leaving my house only to go to work and to therapy. I then spent another year sleeping around trying to get back the control and power they had taken from me. It took a while, but I finally grew from it. I am still devastated that those two got away with rape, and I really think those women should have been charged as well, but nothing I can do about it now. It's been about 8 years. TLDR, 2 guys drugged and raped me with the help of 2 females who set it up. They all 4 got away with it because the detective was a jerk. Fucking detective, dude. Yeah, okay, so she's a stripper. Still, like, you still have your limits as a stripper. Like, you have a job to do. You're not like, I don't know why people can't understand that. Like, you're more prone to sexual stuff because of course it's going to happen at the club. But the fact that the detective wouldn't take the case for that reason, like, where is this detective? Because I'd like to fucking, speak my mind on that. That's just so fucked up that they would do that. But yeah, no, that's all 3 holes. That's messed up. I wonder if they thought since she was a stripper, they thought that, like, oh, since she's a stripper, she's so used to this, so we could do whatever we want. But, like, no, it doesn't fucking matter. A stripper is getting paid, all right? Just like a waitress is getting paid. That waitress does not want to fuck you. She's just being super nice to you because she's trying to get tips. It's literally not, like, I hate when old men or just any men go and like, talk sweet to the waitress. Like, I mean, you could talk sweet to them, be nice, but, like, when you hit on them, give them your phone number, like, dude, they're literally doing that so they can make money. They're not, and the same for strippers too. Like, they're doing that to make money. Like, all right, a stripper can go as far as like a lap dance or whatever, but, like, when if they drugged her, they definitely thought in the back of their mind that she didn't want to do it in the first place. So, like, hey, don't do that shit, please. If you happen to be a criminal in this aspect, you're watching this video, please get help. I'm not even gonna ask you to do, like, other things. You just need to stop. If you are watching this and you've done something like that before, just please be a better person. Like, no person deserves to be raped. No person deserves to get their money stolen. No person deserves to be getting taken advantage of. It is literally not at all a good thing to do. And if you think it is, then we're gonna have problems here. And I think you should check yourself into a mental asylum, because you do not deserve to be in the streets, or at least in jail too. Because jail hey, that's a fucking that's a house where bad things happen to you too. So you learn your lesson in there maybe. But yeah, no, just fuck anyone who's done that. And if you have done it and you don't want to do it again, please never, ever, ever, ever do it again. And please don't even ever think about it. If you're watching this and you are like this person, like, fuck you, but get some help. Seriously, get some fucking help if that's what if that's what you think of. Like, you are scum, and you will be scum, and you need to get fixed. You need to get help. I don't know what steps you could, because I don't know what their thinking is in these minds, because it's just so sickening to think about. But there are, I mean, not just, these people, like serial killers and stuff like that. Like, you don't know what the hell is going through their mind. I don't know what the hell can fix it, but you got to find something. I think this is way more manageable than being a serial killer, because serial killer, you are definitely just complete, you just kill, but with this is like a totally different act in general. So yeah, just please fuck off and get help. And also to the victims of these stories, and anyone who has ever been a victim, never feel like a coward. Never feel like you didn't do enough to stop the situation, because you did, and there was nothing you could have done. And that's the sad part about it, because that's why this is so bad, because you have no control over what happened. And when you blame yourself, it's so sad to me, because it is not anywhere near your fault for that happening. Like, you did not ask a person to slip an ecstasy or some roofie or Xanax into your beer while you were drinking it, or alcohol, or any kind of like Haldol, whatever drug it is that can cause that shit to happen. You didn't go in the bar and think like, oh, I can't wait till someone does that to me. Like, no. If that's the case, then, well, that's a completely different story. I don't know why you would want that to happen, but just it was not in your control. It was not in your control, and you should really harp on that fact, because I know it may be hard to believe, because you were victimized, and you had a very bad thing happen to you, so you just immediately start blaming yourself in hindsight for doing what you wish you could have done, but you couldn't. And that's the thing. It's really fucking sad with these victims of these crimes and stuff. Like, they really, I really think they should talk to somebody about it, someone they can trust, or maybe a therapist or psychiatrist, because that's the only kind of person I would trust telling information like that. And because they're there to help you. I think therapy would be a great thing, and they can't judge you. And I mean, if they did judge you, that would be like, what the fuck are you doing judging them? So I think that would be a good person to tell. And if you're really close with a friend or your partner at the time, maybe you want to be careful telling them, because you never know, if you break up with them, or they break up with you, or they stop being friends with you, then they have that information, and they know that about you. But that's why it's very hard to tell people. But that's why I think a therapist or a psychiatrist, mostly a therapist, would be the best to tell, because that they can't judge, and they can give you some good advice, and I think it would be for the better. And if it's like a virtual appointment, I like to do virtual appointments. I haven't gone in to do a real one yet. I went, my first two I did when I first started therapy. I sat in the room with her, but I did not like that therapist. But the one I have now, we've been doing it virtually every time. And I would feel comfortable telling him something like that if it happened, because he's a very nice guy, and they got to be understanding. And I think that's why we got to thank these therapists for being the way they are, because something traumatic like that happening and not being able to tell anyone, it hurts. Like, you do want to tell people, but at the same time you don't. But I'll just end this video saying, like, we are with you. We are just, if you had something like this happen, you can message me on Instagram, and we could talk about it. I will gladly help with you. And I will try to get a donation going to the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center again. I just need to I need to save my money a little bit here, because I did donate like $200 when that happened, 200 of the 500. So yeah, I need to save up a little bit and get back to my a comfortable wage because had so many payments I've had to pay the past couple weeks, and yeah, I'm down a little bit, and it's getting a little scary. I had to be very careful grocery shopping today, but once I get back to normal, everything's back to normal, because my YouTube, I'm back at making money on my main channel, so once I get that check, it should help out a lot, and it should get bigger and bigger as the time goes on. So I will hopefully look for that in the next couple months. I'd say I've been thinking about it so much. I want to do it so bad because it feels so good to help people. It feels so good, especially in that situation, because that's just it means a lot to me for to help out that, because it's so touching and so hard to put into words how it makes me feel. But yeah, it's so sad, so disturbing, oh God, it's just so sickening. People in this world are so sickening. Of course not everyone, but there are people like these people in these stories who cause these problems to happen to these victims, and anyone who's just a criminal in general with like anything severe like that. Yeah, it's like, oh God, it's just so sad that it happens. And I don't know how to end this, because I'm just thinking about how sad it is for that to happen. But I really hope you got something from this video. Hopefully maybe there's a lesson to be learned here. Really, the only lesson that you can learn is just to always be wary, always be careful. Because even though you can't control it, maybe there can be some suspicion before you start drinking, like, hey, maybe that person looks like they might do something to me. Even if they don't, it's always good to be suspicious about that. Yeah, just always be on the lookout, and not just for this situation, just be on the lookout in general. There could be some shooting happening nearby, or something. Like, you just always want to be careful who's around you. If anything feels shady in your gut instinct, fucking listen to it, because it's life or death at that point. But yeah, I hope you all will try to have a wonderful night. I mean, I don't know if you're going to be able to after this video, because it was so fucking depressing. But yeah, just try to, and stay safe out there, guys. That's all I can really tell you.